My business partner Malcolm, while we were there, I said, "Yo, look at his legs." He said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah." I said, "They're thick. They're in shape. They look very strong."
Shawn Porter has left the training camp of top fighter TerenceCrawford, and he has one thing to say: Terence looks better than ever.
And again, that speaks to the magnitude of this fight. They are matching and mirroring one another in a lot of ways. For me,
getting great sparring,
yeah,
training in the mountains. Yeah, you're right.
For me, the biggest thing.
Porter says that Crawford isn't just going through the motions. He trains to win, with smart, precise, and calm focus. The way he moves, his physical shape, and the intensity of each workout show a fighter getting ready for the biggest stage.
Something that Crawford said was, who else is there? There's nobody else at my level. And they're mirroring in that respect. Everybody wanted to see Canelo in the ring with
El Monstro.
With Benavidez. But respectfully, Benavidez does not have that
all-time standing.
Yeah. Whereas Crawford does. And that's why we get this fight. Also why I think we get a brilliant match.
Terence Crawford's training camp got a lot of attention from the start, mostly because of how seriously he trained. With his coaches Brian McIntyre, Esau Daig, and Jamie Belt, Crawford followed a complete program focusing on technique, strategy, strength, and stamina. He combined sparring with high-altitude training in Colorado to stay fresh and added recovery exercises like interval training and swimming to stay well-rounded. Crawford has never shied away from breaking down his opponents, and before his big fight against CaneloAlvarez, he has been working hard on the left hook that Canelo is famous for.
There you go. No, I'm saying boom. So then when you extend it, boom, this is protecting you. This is right here. You know what I mean? Because look, if I throw a hook, no, I'm saying, if I'm here, boom, and you throw a hook, I'm just gonna turn. I'm just gonna turn my shoulder. Wait too much.
Crawford followed a diet that matched his training perfectly. It helped him keep his speed and agility, even with his bigger build. He looked lean but was still strong, which made fans wonder how he would handle Canelo's size. Another fighter who faced Canelo, John Ryder from Britain, praised Crawford before the fight, calling him
I've done with a couple more there, then moved up to 160, but it's all being done as a bit of a rush, so he's not going to be fully, he's not going to have time to put the muscle on to build into the weight, and he's obviously going to do it with the intention of getting back down to 154 and taking on other challenges, so it's not a long-term goal for him to stay there, but like I say, Terence Crawford is an exceptional talent. I remember watching him beat a good friend of mine, Ricky Burns, and it's like, since that day I was just, my ears pricked up and I took notice, and every time Terence Crawford...
Even so, Crawford didn't hesitate at all. Fighting a strong opponent like Canelo at 168 lbs is a big challenge. Ryder warned that the preparation, mental edge, and game plan before the fight will be just as important as the fight itself.
I think it'll be a point. I think Canelo will win it, but not by the biggest of margins. But then if Crawford come and turn the event on his head and won on points, I wouldn't...
Ryder also gave Crawford advice on how to beat the Mexican champion. He said Crawford should stick to the basics and avoid trying new strategies during the fight. Ryder added that discipline, timing, using tried-and-true techniques, and respecting one's skills could be the key to defeating Canelo.
The Bivol blueprint, the in and out. I mean, a lot of fighters getting stick now for being runners, Tom and Jerry and whatnot. But stick to what you're good at. Terence Crawford is an exceptional talent. He's won titles through the weights, undisputed at, 3 weights now. And listen, if anyone can do it, it's him. I think the weight will be too much of an issue. Canelo is a special talent. I think the weight will play a factor in the fight. But
CaneloAlvarez moved his training camp to the scenic Del Mar beaches in California, adding nature to his tough training routine. His coach, Eddie Reynoso, had him run on the beach, shadowbox on gravel, and do regular drills to improve fitness and mobility in the ring. This outdoor work was added to his Canelo, the current champion holding all 4 major belts, is defending his crown against a man who wants to be the first male boxer to be undisputed in 3 weight classes. His last fight was in August last year, when he won the WBA junior middleweight title. This time, he is moving up 2 divisions. Speaking from his experience facing both fighters, Khan described it as a meeting of opposite paths. Canelo has fought many tough battles, carries the marks of top opponents, and has competed in several divisions. Crawford, on the other hand, is fresher, less worn from the miles, and still has razor-sharp accuracy, allowing him to handle more pressure without losing his edge. Interview 10. Chris Algieri added another perspective on Canelo's current condition. He suggested that the Mexican superstar wasn't at his best during a recent appearance. His tone showed surprise, almost disbelief, that a fighter like Canelo could step into the ring when he isn't completely sharp.
Honestly, because it just depends what type of fighters show up on the night. I fought both guys. When I fought them at the peak of their careers. The same Canelo gonna fight Crawford, is that gonna be the same Canelo I fought? And with Crawford, we know he turns it up anyway. I think that looking at both fighters, I think Canelo has had more harder fights, going up and down the weight divisions. I think he's been in more wars than Crawford. I think Crawford is the fresher fighter who's been in less wars but had as many hard fights, but in my opinion, not as hard as Canelo. So I just feel that Crawford has this fight in the bag, because I've sparred with him even after we fought each other, and when he puts on that weight, it's like he holds that weight so well, that muscle well. And
Algieri later tried to calm the hype around the fight. He reminded fans that no single match can define a champion. Both fighters have years of top-level experience, and the real answers will come when their styles and strategies are tested in the ring. In boxing, reputations can change in an instant. The moment the opening bell rings, all the what-ifs will disappear.
He's weighing around like 170, 175. He's looking like a natural 175 guy. It's not like he's purposely looking heavy or, he's looking soft. He looks built and...
Canelo enters the ring as the naturally heavier fighter, with a history of winning titles in several divisions. His strengths are steady pressure, powerful punches in close range, effective body attacks, and excellent timing. He is battle-hardened, having faced and beaten the best in super welterweight, light heavyweight, and heavyweight divisions. Compared to Crawford, he is slightly shorter, but has a stocky build and vast experience, making him very durable. Roy Jones Jr. added weight to this view, speaking from his own experience moving up to the heavyweight division. He explained that such a change isn't just a training camp or overnight adjustment. It takes years of work, adaptation, and surviving against bigger, stronger opponents.
Yeah, he didn't look as fit as he did his last fight. He looked listless. He looked like he didn't care. He didn't have the crowd behind him. And Marcus, you've been to a ton of Canelo fights. You know how that arena is. It is insane.
TerenceCrawford, on the other hand, is a skilled switch hitter who moves well in the ring. He can switch easily between orthodox and southpaw, has superior reach, and understands ring geometry to exploit openings in both attack and defense. Though he may have lost some mass, he makes up for it with agility. When Roy Jones Jr. spoke about him, it didn't feel like speculation. He spoke from experience. He wasn't just analyzing skills. He was highlighting the mental strength, flexibility, and ring intelligence needed to take on a fighter like Canelo. To Roy, Crawford is no longer just a young contender, but a fighter with a real chance to make history. That sense of potential makes every exchange and every round even more exciting.
their peak of what they are at this point. Because again, Crawford is 38 years old. Canelo will be 35 by then. So I think they're going to be the peak for what they are at their ages. But it's easy to go, wow, what have you done for me lately? That's usually how everyone kind of sees everything. So, but I think it's good. I think it makes the fight more enticing if a lot of people are thinking that Crawford can win. And don't get me wrong, Crawford can absolutely win the fight. I'm not saying he can't win the fight. But in terms of, how I see it, it hasn't really changed my thoughts, because I know better than to just trust that last thing I saw, because there's a lot of confounding.
Roy wasn't finished. He moved from critic to motivator, challenging Crawford with the wisdom of someone who has stood at the top. He described Crawford's legacy not just in terms of titles, but as a fighter with the courage to face the toughest battles and find a way to win. According to Roy, that mindset may be the key to beating Canelo. If Crawford's determination holds, we could witness a night that cements him as one of the greatest in boxing history.
He's been dealing with super middles and light heavyweights in training. If you can deal with him in training, you can deal with him in the fight. So the weight should not even be an issue.
One important point in discussions is that Crawford has gained some weight. Some videos and analyses suggest the extra muscle may have slightly slowed his natural speed, which matters against a powerful fighter like Canelo. But experienced fighters and analysts say that if Crawford controls the center of the ring, keeps up clean combinations, and sets the tempo, he might force Canelo into mistakes. David Benavidez Sr. described the matchup like a cat-and-mouse game. He believes neither fighter is at their absolute best, and their styles will shape the fight. Canelo is expected to move forward and throw heavy, fight-ending shots, while Crawford will rely on speed, angles, and movement to stay safe.
A lot of times, peer pressure, social media, money, things like that distort the truth sometimes. You understand me? This man been around for the last 20 years, undefeated. You understand me? For the last 20 years, undefeated. If somebody wanted to prove this, that day was right there. Why didn't you fight him? He been undefeated for the last 20 years. I mean, right there. Only 3 divisions, undisputed world champ. Only. You could really put him in the talk for one of the best ever.
Fans and experts have shared their opinions. Some worry about whether Crawford's body changes will hold up through long rounds. At the same time, many respect Canelo's organization and boxing sense. Renowned trainer Abel Sanchez gave Crawford a success plan. Be ready mentally and physically, build enough strength to handle Canelo's pressure in the later rounds, and study Canelo's recent fights to find weaknesses. Sanchez believes the key to victory is a mix of strength, smart tactics, and the ability to read and react during the fight.
Guy does beat a good bad guy, but a great little guy, does beat a great small guy, but a great small guy beats a good big guy. We might be talking about a great small guy here. We'll find out in this fight, but we might be talking about, which I think we already are, but I think we're not talking about a good small guy. I think we're talking about a great small guy. You understand me? So this great small guy, like you saw with me, a great small guy can do